the square root of 8 and the number 3.
Yeah.
So if you were to draw a number line here is 0 and here is 1 and here is 2, and everything I've said up until now is true.
Yeah.
Okay, just a moment.
Wait, what?
Hey, I'm back here. Sorry about that. So you know this, but you may or may not know that the square root of 1 is equal to 1, and the square root of 4 is equal to 2.
Yeah.
And 3 is the square root of 9.
Yeah.
So the square root, and like in this window, I don't really have enough room here, but in between these is everything from the square root of 5, square root of 6, square root of 7, and the square root of 8. Like they're in between there. So where does the square root of 8 compare to square root of 9? It's left of it, right?
Yeah.
And 3 is square root of 9.
Yeah.
So you can see that the square root of 8 is less than 3 because it's left. It's left of 3.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So this one just says to circle the larger number. So we're circling that one. Okay, let's do number 3 next because it's more like number 1, and then we'll come back to 2. And if you need more examples, always let me know because that's the important thing here. So again, on this number line, I'm going to draw this. I'm going to just copy and paste this number line here. Okay, on this number line, actually, it didn't quite. Okay, on this number line, 4 is the square root of 16, and 5 is the square root of 25, and 6 is the square root of 36.
Okay.
So between the square root of 30 falls somewhere in between these two. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It goes all the way from the square root of 26 all the way to the square root of 35. Any number in between there is going to be between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So in this case, the square root of 30 is greater than 5 because it's right of 5.
The square root of 30 is greater than 5 because
it's right of 5 because the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 36 is 6.
Yeah. So, well, I want to know how you can get like the square roots like going like past like 4 and 9 and like the basic ones.
You just have to know them. There's only so many you have to know.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I'm gonna write it down and stuff after.
So let's make a complete list here. 0 squared is 0. 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 2. 3 squared is 3. I'm sorry, 3. I messed these up. I apologize. 2 squared is 4. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. 6 squared is 36. And we can keep going. We're going to go up to, I guess we'll go up to 10. 7 squared is 49. 8 squared is 64. 9 squared is 81. And 10 squared is 100.
Here, can you go up really quick?
Absolutely.
See that? Just gonna write them all down really quick. Almost done. Can you scroll down a little bit, please?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. All right, got him.
All right. So now if we scroll up, and this is important here, there's a square root associated with each of these. So you'll start seeing the pattern here. The square root of 0 is 0. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. So this is the hopefully that you can see the pattern here.
Yeah.
This number under the root is this number on the to the right of the equal sign. So the next one is the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 25 is 5.
5.
And then we'll keep going here. So the square root of 36 is 6.
Yeah.
The square root of 49 is 7. The square root of 64 is 8. The square root of 81 is 9.
Okay.
The square root of 100 is 10.
So it just goes down from then.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Okay, now if you've got this down, which is really good to have on a sheet of paper, and I can even send you a PDF of a reference
Yeah,
sheet
can you
here.
do that?
Yeah, I'll have it for you tomorrow. One of the things that I can do is ask you, I can say, all right, Remy, like if I were to say the square root of 7, what two numbers is that between? Well, it's between 2 and 4. Well, why is that? Because it's the square root of 4. I'm sorry, I messed this up again. Apologize. And the square root of 9. Because the square root of 4 is 2 and the square root of 9 is 3. Do you follow that?
Yeah.
So if I ask you now, the square root of 11 is between what two numbers? What would you say?
Between two hold on, my mom's texting me if I'm getting on because she's gone. Wait, repeat that, please.
Take care of what you need to take care of with your mom if you haven't done that. Let's make
Yeah,
sure.
I'm just
Okay.
texting her that I got on and stuff.
Okay, great. Yeah, you were right on time. That's awesome. A lot of students lag pretty hard, and then we run out of time when they want to get to the stuff that they're trying to work on.
Yeah.
Okay, so the square root of 7, like you don't know what that is, but you know the square root of 4 is 2 and the square root of 9 is 3. So 2 and 3, they kind of bound the square root of 7.
But isn't the square root of 749?
No, let's go look. The square root of 49 is 7.
Oh yeah. So I gotta say it that way then, right? The
Yes,
square
exactly.
root
Exactly.
of 49. Okay.
So what you do is you're not going to have square root of 11 in your list, but you're going to have two numbers around it. See how you have these two numbers around it?
Yeah.
So you come down here and you're like, oh, square root of 11 is between 3 and 4 because 4 is the square root of 9 and 16 is the square root of 3 is the square root of 9 and 4 is the square root of 16.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so how about the square root of 30? What two numbers is that between? And again, all you're doing is going back up to your table here and you're figuring out where does it fit?
Square root 30. Oh, shit. I'm not really sure. Honestly,
Square root of 25 and the square root of 36.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay.
So it's between 5 and 6.
5 and 6.
Because 5 is the square root of 25 and 6 is the square root of 36.
Yeah.
How about the square root of 8? What two numbers is it between?
It is between 4 and 9. So the square root of
Well, it's between the square root of 4 and the square root of 9, but what whole number is it between?
2 and 3.
Perfect.
Yeah.
How about the square root of 52? What is it between?
It is between 52, 7 and 8.
So the square root of
7 and 8.
Well, square root of 49 is 7. That's exactly right. And the square root of 64 is 8. Good. Okay. So now let's go back and do number 2. Now that we've kind of covered, well, actually, let's do 50. I'm sorry, 5 next, because it's very similar. There's nothing weird about it. All right. So square root of 50 and 7. So 7, if you go back up to our table, 7 is the square root of what number?
7 is the square root of 49.
Okay, so we can actually say this is the square root of 49. So which is bigger, the square root of 50 or the square root of 49?
50 or 49?
You're just looking at the number underneath.
Is it, oh, 50?
That one's bigger. So the square root of 50 is greater than the square root of 49.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this starting to, I mean,
Yeah, it's making more
get in
sense.
there? Okay. Now this number 2 is a little bit difficult because they're introducing a new concept here out of order. So square root 15 and 3.5. So what two numbers is the square root of 15 between?
It is between the square root of 9 and 16, which is 3 and 4.
3 and 4. So that doesn't help us very much because we're trying to compare it to 3.5. Okay. But is 15 closer to 16 or is it closer to 9?
It's closer to 16.
It's closer to 16. So this is, if we had to make a guess, square root of 15 is like 4. It's
Yeah.
about 4. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So how does that compare to 3.5? Is 4 bigger than 3.5 or less than 3.5?
Bigger.
It's bigger. So the square root of 15 is greater than 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try another one like this. Let's compare the square root of 50 and 7.5.
Okay.
So what is the square root of 50 like? Which number is it closest to in that table?
It is closest to 49.
49. So this is about, it's about 7-ish, right? It's a little more than 7, but it's about 7. So how does that compare to 7.5?
It is bigger.
It's bigger. So this one is the larger. No, I'm sorry. You're letting you agree, make 7 is smaller than 7.5.
Oh yeah.
So that means the square root of 50 is less than 7.5.
Okay.
Okay, so let's try another one here. How about the square root of 26 and 5.5?
Okay, the square root of 26 and 5.5.
Mhm.
Do you want me to just say the answer?
Which one is bigger?
26. No, 5.5.
Well, it's one of them. Which one is it?
5.5.
Because this one is about like the square root of 25, which is 5.
5.5. 5.5.
So that's bigger. Okay, great. All right, so we're up to number 4. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Number 4 is kind of one of these odd ones that probably shouldn't be there, but it is. You have to reduce the one on the left.
Oh, you
So there's,
do?
yeah, so there's this property that says if you have the square root of A over the square root of B, this is the square root of A over the square root of B.
Yeah.
So this is the square root of 16 over the square root of 25. Now you know these values from the table.
Yeah. I do.
So go ahead and go find those, please. What is the square root of 25? And what is the square root of 16? What is the square root of 25?
16 is 4 is the square root.
Okay, so this is really 4 over 5.
So, and then 25 is 5. Yeah, so 4 over 5.
So how does 4 over 5 compared to 2 over 5?
4 over 5 is, wait.
That's
Yeah,
bigger.
4 over 5 is bigger.
It's bigger because the top number is bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep thinking about like when I'm in like the third grade and stuff like that, where like the smaller number is bigger. Usually, I don't know why I keep thinking about that.
Okay, so let's do this one. And let's compare this to 3/4.
Okay. So do you want me to
I want you to answer this one on your own. Which is bigger?
9 over, I mean 3/4.
Did you reduce this?
Nah, I'm going to right now.
I mean, it's a 50% chance of being right. But let's say there was an important outcome on it. You wouldn't want to guess. You definitely want to go through the same process we did in the previous problem.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So now 16. So it's 3 over, oh my gosh, 4. Oh, so it's the same.
Same. Let's try another one.
Uh, okay, 81, 900. It's 81 over 100 is bigger.
What does this reduce to?
9 over 100.
9 over 10. I think maybe you meant 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 10, 10, sorry.
Yes. Okay, good. All right, so let's look at
Okay.
6. This is getting into a lot of like there's tiny little things here that you could actually do an entire lesson on. So did your instructor were you using calculators? You just doing this by hand? Do you have any ideas?
Oh yeah, but we need a calculator.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because you can do these without them.
Yeah, but she lets us use a calculator, but you don't really need to, but she'll let you.
Okay.
She lets you.
All right. Well, the two bar means 2 goes on forever.
Yeah.
And whenever you have something over 9, this is kind of an interesting one. It's 1/9 is 0.1 repeating.
Okay.
So 2 over 9ths, you multiply it by 2. I guess I can hear you grabbing a calculator, and that's totally fine. Because if you are allowed to grab a calculator, I mean, you just do all these with a calculator.
Yeah.
So
We can in tests and stuff, obviously, but
you can or cannot.
Still can't.
Okay, so we need to do these by hand. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1 over 9th, whenever you see something over 9, it's 0.1 repeating. But see how there's this 2 because you're going to multiply this in.
Yeah.
So this becomes 0.2 repeating. So
Okay.
they're actually the same.
All right.
It's okay if you're like, hey, I don't believe you. Let me try this on a calculator. I'm totally okay with that. Excuse me.
Okay. So you want me to calculate it?
I think you should, just to believe me.
All right. I believe you.
Well, it's okay.
So you want me to calculate 2?
No. I mean, what I'm trying to get at is there's these rules for certain divisors that I don't know if you need to know or not.
I'm not really sure. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm not either. So, because I don't want to go into a lot of detail on this if you don't need it. I mean, we have calculators now. It's not like I mean, even when I was in school, we had calculators. This is ridiculous. So, I don't know. That's all I've got to say on that. So let's go to number 7. Hopefully, we will have some clarity on.
Yeah, I'll ask her about that.
Okay, for 7, 8, and some of these other ones here, what you definitely want to do is try to write them all in the same format, which is probably going to be decimal.
Yeah.
So the toughest one is going to be the square root of 10, but this 2 4/5, do you believe me that that's 2.8? Or do you see how that's 2.8?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now, and then this one, whenever it's a repeating one, you definitely want to write out a few of those.
Okay.
So between these 3, which is the largest?
It is 2.8.
So this is the largest?
Yeah.
So if I gave you 2.8 million or 2.888 million, which would you prefer?
Oh yeah, 2.88 million.
Yes. So this is the largest. This is the second largest, and this is the third largest.
Yeah.
Now the square root of 10 is the tough one. I actually don't even know what the square root of 10 is. So, and there's not a fast way to figure it out without doing some things that aren't really standard. But, okay, you do know the following. The square root of 10 falls between which 2 numbers?
The square root of 10 falls in between 100, like 10 and
No,
wait.
square root of 9, square root of 9.
Oh, square root of 9?
And the square root of 16.
Wait, what? I'm like confused.
We did these earlier. Square root of 10.
What is the square root of 10?
But what two numbers does it fall between?
Oh, it falls between.
So remember, you'd go up to your table and you would
Oh,
find the two
9 and
numbers.
16, right?
Right. And
Okay,
the
I
square root
was thinking like the other thing. I don't know what I'm thinking. Yeah.
so the square root of 9 is 3. Okay. And the
Okay.
square root of 16 is 4.
Yeah.
All right. So 3 and 4. So square root of 10 falls between 3 and 4. So how does that compare to these other numbers up here? Well, it's bigger than all of them. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Because the square root of 10, it must be bigger than 3. So the square root of 10 is the largest, then
Yeah.
2.8 bar, then 2 and 4/5, because that's the 2.8, then 2.75.
Okay. I see.
Okay, ready to do number 8?
Yeah.
All right, so number 8. So when I look at this list, I say, oh, square root of 25, I can reduce that. That's 5. So if you see something that works out nicely, you want to do that right away. In the previous problem, we saw that 2 and 4/5 was 2.8. Okay. So how does 5 compare to 5.01, which is bigger?
Wait, 5 and 5.01.
Yeah,
5.01.
5.01 is bigger. Okay. So we know that 5.01 is bigger than 5. All right.
Yeah.
Now 5.01 bar, that means this one means 5.011111 forever. So how does that compare to these numbers?
Is bigger.
Is bigger. Okay, that's bigger. Now this one's a little bit odd, but you repeat 2 digits. So it's 5.01, 01, 01, 01. So which is it bigger than?
It's bigger than all of them.
So look at these two though.
Oh, the other one with all the ones.
Yes, that's the biggest. So move this over here. So that's greater than 5.01 bar.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what we're not doing, and I don't know how much this matters. We're not putting these on the number line. Is that critical here, or is that?
I mean, I kind of already think I know how to put some of them on the number line, but I think it might help if we do.
Okay. So let me just drag this down, and we're going to go back to the previous problem here, and we'll put them on the number line for number 7. Sorry about that. We'll get this cleaned up though pretty quickly here. So there's your number line.
All right, thanks.
And we just put the numbers where if we know them. So like we know the square root of 10 is the biggest. We know it's more than 3. We actually don't know exactly where it is, but it's about right there. That's the square root of 10, believe it or not.
Yeah. Okay.
2.8 bar is the next biggest one, and it's 2.88, so it's kind of right there-ish.
All right.
2 and 4/5 is exactly 2.8. And then 2.75, it's right in the middle there.
All right. Got it.
Okay, so let's graph the next one here. So since we have them, in order, I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing. Five is right there. That's the square root of 25. That's the smallest one.
Okay.
So 5.01 is like, I don't know, it's like right there.
Okay.
Okay. And then, so that's 5.01. And then 5.01 bar, it's just a little bit to the right of it.
All right.
And then 5.01, it's like just a little bit to the right of that.
Okay.
So they're not anywhere close to this 5.1.
Okay. Let's
Because
see.
if you were to break this up, like this would be right in the middle would be 5.05.
Mhm.
And these are all 01. So they're all over in this area, which is why we're putting arrows to point to it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry this isn't more clear. There's so many things going on
Yeah,
here
it's
that are not really synced up.
yeah. I mean, I know I have like a better understanding of it and stuff, but like some things is just kind of like, I don't know.
All right, well, let's look at number 9. So number 9 has both positives and
Yeah.
negatives. So if zero is your defining line, the negatives are over here, right?
Yeah.
And the positives are over here. So we already kind of know which one is, bigger and smaller in some sense, right? So let's do the positives first. Those are easier. The square root of 3 falls between which two numbers?
It falls between 2 and 1.
Yeah, so 1 and 4. Now this one's kind of tough. It's closer to 2 than it is 1, but that doesn't matter because the other number we're comparing it to is 3.5.
Oh.
So since the square root of 3 is between 1 and 2, we know that the square root of 3 is there and 3.5 is over here somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you see how we did that? Because 3.5 is somewhere over here.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, now negative 3.5, this is where it's a little bit weird. It's between, okay, two negative numbers. And actually, this one's a little, I don't know how to do this. It's between, I'll just give you the answer here, -3 and -4.
Okay.
-3 is the square root of -9, or negative square root of 9, and this is negative square root of 16.
All right.
So where does the negative square root of 5 fall? Does it fall in here or over here?
It falls on the right.
Yeah, over here on the right, because it's less than those. It's a little weird when you get backwards like this. So it's
Yeah.
negative square root of 5, negative 3.5.
Yeah.
All right, now let's put this on a number line. Okay, so 3.5, that's an easy one. That's right there. Boom, 3.5. And then minus 3.5 is there. Okay, but where's the square root of 3? Well, we already said it's between 1 and 2, but it's closer to 2 than it is to 1. So maybe it's like right there. We didn't exactly talk about minus square root of 5, but we know square root of 5 is between 2 and 3. It's between the square root of 4 and the square root of 9. But it's closer to 2 than it is to 3 because 5 is closer to 4.
Yeah.
So when the negatives are involved, it's closer to negative square root of 2. So it's I don't know, it's like right there, we'll say. That's minus square root of 5.
Okay. All right, got them down.
I think we can do some more problems after we get through the last one to clarify more of this.
Yeah.
But let's finish up here with this. At least you've got this done, and then we can try to try to do this. Okay. Snip in this last question. Okay, the area of a square painting. So square painting means that all the sides are the same.
Yeah.
Is 600. So the area is base times height, right?
Mm,
But because it's square, these are the same.
okay.
So that means that you either say that B equals H or H equals B. It really doesn't matter. And a lot of times students actually prefer X. So the area is X times X, which is X squared.
Yeah.
Well, what is the area? The area is given right here,
Square inches.
600. So to undo a square, you use what's called a square root.
Yeah.
Okay, so grab a calculator.
Okay, I got one.
And what's the square root of 600? Give it to 3 decimal places, please.
How do I calculate that like on a phone?
Phone's not your best option for that. If you don't have one, I'll
Yeah, I'll just.
all right, so the answer here is 24.495 when you round.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I got a calculator now on like Google and it has all that stuff.
Okay. Actually, it does matter. Let me go. It's 4. We just put the 4 there. So this one says to the nearest hundredth. So that's 2 decimal places. So that's 1, 2. So it'd be 24.49.
Okay. So you just, yeah, so you don't add all the extra stuff on the end.
Yes. Okay. So besides this topic, is there anything else you want to cover today?
No, not really at all.
Okay. So I was trying to do with that table up above is make it really clear that like every number. So like you're used to like, oh, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, right? And so on. But every number falls between 2 square roots also.
Hmm.
So let's do some simple ones. The square root of 2 falls between which 2 whole numbers? Well, the square root of 2 is in this where I'm
1 and
pointing
4.
here. Between 1 and 2 whole numbers. We want the whole number side.
Yeah.
Okay, so like what about the square root of 6? Which 2 whole numbers does it fall between? Well, the square root of 6 is here. So it falls between 2 and 3.
3.
How about the square root of 3? What 2 numbers does it fall between?
The square root of 3.
Yes, square root of 3. So like I'm basically asking you to like look up here
1 and 2.
and it falls between 1 and 2. Okay. How about the square root of 7?
It falls between 4 and 9.
The square root of 4 and the square root of 9. I want the numbers down here though.
Oh, the number of the square root of 7.
Yeah, but this you said it right. It falls between this. You're right. It's the square root of 4 and the square root of 9, but you don't leave it like this because this is a known value. You know this.
Yeah.
So what is the square root of 4?
The square root of 4 is 2.
What's the square root of 9?
3. Oh, I see now.
So,
Okay.
so I want this. You can do this. This is actually very good, but that you have to get to this step down here.
Okay, I see.
So you got this table, right? Like the 5 is the square root of 25, and 6 is the square root of 36, and 7, that's the square root of 49, and so on, right? You've got that. You
Yeah.
agree with that? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a couple of these. Okay. The square root of 70 is between what 2 numbers?
It's between the square root of 9 and 10, which is 81 and 100. Oh, I know. No. 8 and 9 and 8 and 9, 64 and 81.
Exactly. So I want this. Now it's okay if you say, oh, it's the square root of 64, square root of 70, square root of 81. Okay. How about the square root of 50?
It is 7 and 8.
Very good.
9 and
Very good.
64.
Very good. Okay. All right. Now let's do a little bit of ordering here with numbers. So let's say you've got 5.1, the square root of 48, and 5.1 repeating, and the square root. Let's just do those three.
So you want me to find the square root of 48?
No, I want you to tell me which one is. I want you to put this from largest to smallest.
It's 5.1 repeating is the largest.
Okay. What else?
Second is 5.1. And the last is 48.
Okay. So what number is the square root of 48 near?
What's the square root of 48?
What's it near though? The square root of
7, 49.
which is 7. So
Wait,
how does
what?
that come? Isn't the square root of 49 7?
Yeah.
So how does that compare to these?
It's smaller.
7 is not smaller. 7 is larger.
Oh, 7. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking of
Well, that's why I did this, because it's deceptive. It looks like it's near the 5s.
Yeah.
Just to see if you're understanding this. Okay, let's try another one here. Square root of 9, 3.1, 3.3 and 1/9. Let's do that one. Let's do 3 and 1/9. Okay, so put these in order from largest to smallest.
Okay. Oh, the first one is 3 with the 3 and 1/9.
Which is the largest?
3 with and 1/9.
Yes.
And then the second is 9.
What's the square root of 9 equal to?
3.
So 3 is bigger than 3.1.
Yeah.
So you'd rather have 3 million than 3.1
Oh
million.
no. Yeah, I need to think like that.
You got to think like money. That way it'll help you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. What else can we do here? Do you have anything else that you've been working on recently?
Not really. Can I just do another problem similar to that?
Yeah, they're just hard to come up with because they require a lot of. All right, square root of 15, square root of 27 over 3, and 3.1 repeating, and 10/3.
Okay, so 10/3 is first.
You shouldn't be able to do it that quickly. You actually should have to work through each one of these.
Okay. Is that a square root 27/3?
Yes, but this one you actually need to divide first.
We need to divide the 3 and the 27.
Yes.
Okay.
So what is 27 divided by 3?
9.
So what's the square root of 9?
Square root of 9 is 3.
So it's 3. The
And
square root of 15 is near what number?
square root of 15 is near 4. Right?
Right. So this is about 4. So that's bigger than all the rest of them because 3.1 is near 3 and 10/3 is near.
10/3 is near.
Is near 3-ish, right?
Near 3. And 3.1 is 3. So I would do the first is 4 square root of 15. I would do 4 first.
Okay, so that's first. Square root of 15 is first.
I would do 3.1.
Well, what about 10 thirds? So that's 3 and a third. So
Oh,
thirds,
that next.
yeah, 3.3 repeating, 3.3 bar, then 3.1,
And
then
3.
3.
Yeah.
All right, is that okay?
Yes, okay.
I guess we can try another one here. Let's see here. Square root of 2, 5 sixth, square root of, I don't like this one. Sorry, these are just, they're weird to come up with.
Yeah, I see.
Let's try another one here. Let's do the square root of 81. Let's do 100 over 10. And let's go with 8.1 bar. Let's go with 8.8 and 1/9.
Okay, so first I would do the 100. No, hold up. 100 over 10, I just know would be first.
Okay, so there's 2 here that you can figure out right away.
10, 100. So it's 100, then 81. 8 over 9. 70 over 9 is 8. 64. So I know that 100 over 10 is 100 is the square root.
No, 100 over 10 is not 100.
Is 10?
It's just 10.
Well, I know that's like how you do it, but the square root is.
There's no square roots though. This is just 100 over 10.
Oh, okay.
Like that's me trying to, I'm just throwing in something else that's a little bit unrelated because you can't just do the same thing always. You have to sometimes, trick yourself. Say, okay, what am I actually doing here?
And then 9.
This is 9.
8 and 9th is yeah, that's 9. And then 8 and 1/9 is I believe 8. It's like between 8 and 9 is 8 and 1/9, right?
So 8 and 1/9 is actually 8.111111, and 8.1 bar is 8.11111.
Okay, so it just goes yeah, 10, 9, then 8.11, and then 8.11.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. This is it's kind of weird. I don't know. I need to clarify some stuff with my teacher.
Yeah, it's not great. So this is 10, 9, 8.1 bar, and then 8 and 1/9 because they're the same. They can go in either order.
All right.
I mean, if you have a calculator, you can do this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't see much. I don't see it, other than giving me more like this, which are still somewhat confusing. I mean, I can't really clarify this. It's very odd, and you'll only see this one time because you'll probably go through the use a calculator in the future.
Yeah, we will in high school and stuff.
All right. Well, we could probably end here unless you've got other things you'd like to talk about or
No,
work
I
through.
really have nothing else.
Okay, well, good lesson today, and thanks for scheduling, and I'll see you next time.
All right, well, I'll see.
Okay, bye.